Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair's story with each other just received a very interesting situation that could be setting up a major breakup and match. Starting things off with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, because finally there's something to talk about here and speculate on. Alexa and Charlotte's first few months of being paired up together was probably the most intriguing part of their time together. There was this dynamic there of them not trusting each other, and it felt like either of them could turn on each other at any given moment. Then there was more fun fan theories along the way, like the Dark Queen theory, which was the fan theory of Alexa Bliss finding that dark side of Charlotte and forcefully bringing it out of Charlotte, basically resulting in a pure evil version of Charlotte's usual heel persona. There were tons of great and exciting theories like that, but none of those ended up happening. We saw Alexa and Charlotte win the tag team titles and have a great reign with each other, but in terms of having a storyline between each other, that has not really existed up until this point. Even after Charlotte and Alexa dropped the tag team titles, everyone was waiting for some type of event or something to take place between them to spice up the story there, and things have been quiet until the January 9th edition of SmackDown, where finally there's something potentially brewing up between Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. This edition of SmackDown featured Alexa Bliss challenging Giulia for the Women's United States title. But there was one massive situation going on, and that's the fact that Charlotte Flair was not at SmackDown. There was a backstage segment that featured Alexa Bliss talking on the phone to Charlotte. And judging by some of the context clues of the conversation from Alexa's side of the call, it seems like Charlotte Flair got sick, and that's why she was not going to be there for SmackDown. Alexa told Charlotte to rest up and feel better. But this absence from Charlotte introduced a big problem for Alexa Bliss, and that's the fact that she was all alone for the entire night. Nia Jax and Lash Legend entered the scene after Alexa gets off the phone, and they go into full instigator mode. Nia and Lash talked about how it was crazy that as soon as Alexa got a big singles opportunity for herself, Charlotte was nowhere to be seen and had to make it about herself. We then see Alexa versus Giulia for the United States title, and Charlotte's absences is once again felt in a major way. Alexa Bliss basically had the United States title won, but Nia Jax interfered, and Alexa had to try and take care of her, which of course opened up the door for Giulia to capitalize and retain her title. If only Charlotte Flair had been there to cancel out Nia Jax, Alexa Bliss could have been holding the Women's United States title at this current moment. But because Charlotte wasn't there, Alexa had to fight off both Nia and Giulia, and the night was unfortunately not over there for Alexa Bliss. Alexa was then jumped by Jackson Legend, who unleashed a brutal 2-on-1 attack on Alexa Bliss. So just a nightmarish SmackDown for Alexa Bliss, with her basically having to take on 4 different women in one night, with no backup at all due to Charlotte not being there. So why is Charlotte's absence something great for the story here? Well, it's because it gives us something to finally speculate about for when it comes to Alexa and Charlotte. Finally, there's some potential story developing there amongst the two of them. The first potential route is the route of Charlotte Flair being honest. There's nothing more to it, she just got sick. That was the truth, and she could not be there solely for that reason. That's possible, but pretty much the most boring route because no story really comes from that. But then you got the potential route of what if Charlotte Flair was lying about being sick? Well, now things just got a whole lot more interesting and fun to discuss. It's the narrative that Jax Legend and even Wade Barrett was pushing. The three of them all said that Charlotte Flair is not sick, that this is just classic Charlotte Flair being jealous that Alexa got a singles opportunity, and how she refused to help Alexa win a singles title before winning one herself. And knowing Charlotte's previous personas and characters, and her questionable past with other tag team partners, that is a realistic theory right there. Maybe Charlotte has been okay working with Alexa Bliss as a tag team and trying to reach goals together as a team. But maybe Charlotte Flair did feel some type of way about Alexa trying to win some singles gold on her own. So Charlotte had to pull herself out of the equation to make sure Alexa does not go to that next level and stays on the tag team level with her. It's slimy. It's not cool to do towards a partner that you've been with for over 7 months. But is it something that's realistic for Charlotte's character to do? Maybe she truly wanted no part in helping Alexa Bliss win a singles title, so she pulled out of the show to screw Alexa out of that opportunity. What's also interesting is that Charlotte Flair did make the trip overseas with WWE. Charlotte posted a picture of herself together with Nia Jax in the plane earlier in the week. And Alexa and Charlotte had been appearing together all week long at live event matches as well. But when it came to SmackDown and this big title match for Alexa Bliss, Charlotte was out of there. And what really adds fuel to the whole idea of Charlotte Flair lying about being sick is the emphasis and questioning they put around that situation. They could have just said that Charlotte was sick and unable to make it to the show and move everything right along. But they showed Jax and Legend hearing the conversation and had them seriously planting all these seeds of doubt about Charlotte into Alexa's head. Then you also had Wade Barrett on commentary also doubling down and going into detail about why Charlotte was lying about being sick. So it looks like that was all done intentionally and by design. They want you as a viewer to question if Charlotte was being truthful about her sickness and her reason of being absent. And it puts the fan in a rough spot because the version of Charlotte we've seen over the last few months would not lie to Alexa. She's truthful and maybe she was sick. But the version of Charlotte Flair that we saw before the tag team run with Alexa Bliss, that version of Charlotte would definitely lie about being sick. So it puts you in a rough spot, not knowing if Charlotte is telling the truth or lying. And if they're going down this route, it's great because that means it's going to lead to more story forming around Alexa and Charlotte. When Charlotte returns, it's possible that Alexa Bliss will question her about the absence and look at Charlotte Flair a bit more side-eyed moving forward, maybe with less overall trust. And for Charlotte Flair, if she was truly lying, maybe Charlotte would have a quiet plan and agenda going on that she'll be trying to keep under wraps and keep hidden from Alexa. Maybe Charlotte Flair would be looking for the perfect time to strike and distance herself from Alexa Bliss. Or maybe Alexa Bliss allows her head to get full of all these things that Jax, Lash Legend, and others are saying to her about Charlotte Flair. Maybe hearing all those things triggers that dark side of Alexa Bliss to resurface and make that first move on Charlotte Flair. We just talked about the potential for Charlotte's previous self to resurface. Well, then we cannot rule out the idea of Alexa's previous self resurfacing either. Alexa has a very evil persona deep in there, and if Charlotte keeps messing with her and doing these little things like missing shows and setting her up to get attacked, maybe Alexa can tap back into this previous persona and take it all out on Charlotte Flair. So they may no longer have the tag team titles, but the story between Charlotte and Alexa could get very deep here, depending on where they take the story, following this alleged absence from Charlotte Flair. Considering how much time they spent together, a lot of fans have been saying that it would be cool to see Alexa Bliss versus Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 42 as this major non-title singles match that has a lot of deep story to it. And that is an exciting idea, and maybe the whole Charlotte illness situation is the first step in that slow-burning WrestleMania program. We'll have to wait and see if that takes place after all.
But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.